Good evening, friends. Welcome to the home of the Revival Hope Global Outreach Ministry. And tonight's program, we're having an exciting program. You should be glad you came here tonight. So whether you're listening from parts unknown to known parts, but I want to bring on our host right now, the infamous Dr. McKell, who will introduce our guests. Hello, Doc.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, you're looking fabulous.
Oh boy, thank you. Thank you. You're handsome too.
Yeah, I want to tell our guests, the watching all over the world here, that I happened to tune in on Facebook and I saw the good doc in a crowd of people in Nashville. Okay, crowd of people there, but she stood out in the crowd. Her husband, they stood out in the crowd,
Oh
for a lot
yeah,
of
like a
reasons.
sore thumb. Like a sore
Okay.
thumb.
All right, so take it away, Doc. Take it away.
Okay, I just want to welcome everyone to My Mess Became My Message, where we empower women to heal, grow, and step into their full worth. I'm your host, like you said, Dr. Suri McKell. And my co-host, who is not here currently, is Queenie. And our guest speaker is Miss Jacqueline Wallace.
Hi, how you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Glad to be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah. I met her on TikTok. We don't know each other personally.
Yeah.
I just love her message. I reached out to her and she was willing to accept the invitation. So thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so today's episode is deeply personal and powerful. Healing from traumatic relationships and reclaiming your power. So, everyone out there, if you've ever found yourself stuck in a relationship that left you feel broken, questioning your worth, or afraid to trust again, you're not alone. Trauma from relationships, whether emotional, psychological, or even physical, can leave deep wounds. But here's the truth: you are not defined by what happened to you. Healing is possible. And today, we're going to talk about how to take those first steps towards freedom and restoration. We'll cover how to recognize toxic patterns, the healing process, and how to rebuild your confidence and trust in yourself and others. And I'll be sharing resources, affirmation, and scriptures to encourage you along the way. So whether you are on a healing journey yourself or supporting someone who is, this episode is for you. Now let's dive in. So tell us a little bit about yourself. And
I'm sorry.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am first a mother of 6, and a grandmother. I'm also a mental health coach, a certified mental health coach. I have a degree in Christian counseling. Helping people have always been my passion for a very, very long time. Helping people to heal has been a passion of mine, because I remember not having anybody and having to do it alone, not having somebody to reach out for, to vent or to get that advice. It was just me and God. So I've always wanted to be a person to help other people in need.
Yes. And I'm so happy that you're taking your mess and turn it into a message. Yes. And this is the space where we help other women heal, knowing that they're not alone. They're not alone.
They're not.
So I just can't wait to hear your story. So the topic that we selected was breaking free, healing from traumatic relationships, and reclaiming your power. That's a powerful topic.
Yeah.
So tell us, what are traumatic relationships and what are the key signs to look for?
Well, from my experience, traumatic relationships is anything that is abusive, emotionally, mentally, physically, and even sexually. When you experience a traumatic relationship, it can cause so much trauma to where it affects you long term, like causing issues like depression, anxiety, PTSD.
So, can you share some of those experiences that you went through, the
Yes.
ones that you listed?
So unfortunately, I've been in quite a few traumatic relationships, and the the one sign that I noticed first was the verbal abuse. That's where it started. Name calling, um, just always making me feel bad about myself. Yelling, constant yelling all the time. I remember this particular incident when I was in a relationship where the person, he was yelling so loud at me that the people outside the car heard and was just looking. It was just so embarrassing. So
Mm.
the verbal abuse, that's what really, really hurt me the most.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that's what really scarred me the most because, like, if somebody hit you, wounds heal
Yes.
quicker. But words, they stick with you for a minute. So the verbal abuse was the one sign that I noticed first and was the most traumatizing one out of all.
Mm-hmm.
And another sign was the person was very um, short tempered. They couldn't control their anger. They got mad easily. Like, it didn't matter what I said, what I did, they became angry. And that really, really affected my self esteem. It really made me just feel bad about myself because I always had the question, did I do something wrong? Could I say
Mm-hmm.
something differently? Um, and I was always trying to keep the peace so they wouldn't get an attitude, but nothing worked. They always had an attitude. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Another sign was the person was very, very controlling. It had to go their way. Like, I felt like I couldn't even share my opinion because the moment I shared my opinion, they was ready to argue. So a lot of times I kept my feelings to myself and I dealt with it. I dealt with whatever um, abuse that they was giving me.
Mm.
It was sometimes where I was told to wear my hair a certain way, or I couldn't go to certain places without their permission. I couldn't talk to
Mm.
certain people. Um, so yeah, the control was a big sign, and the manipulation. They was very manipulative. Like, they really could get in your head and make you feel like everything that you do is wrong and everything they do is right. Even when you know what they're doing is wrong, they will start
Mm-hmm.
make you start to believe and make you even start to question, like, am I wrong? Because that's
Mm-hmm.
just how manipulative they were. And the most severe one was the physical abuse.
Mm-hmm.
So it always started off slowly. Like, it
Yes.
started with the shoving. I used to think it wasn't no big deal. We're like, oh, they just shoved me, you know. But then it turned into grabbing. They would grab me. I made excuses about that because, when you love somebody, you make excuses. And then it got to a point where they started punching me, slapping me, kicking me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I remember this one particular time, the person I was with, they had on some steel toe boots and they was just kicking me.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, it was it was quite painful. And it was people in the house. Nobody came to help me. Nobody came to help me. And at the time, I was very, very small. And this person was kind of like, on the bigger side. So
Yeah.
yeah, that was some of the things, some of the signs, some of the things that I experienced.
Oh, wow. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh no,
sorry.
it hurt then, but I heal
Oh,
and
yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm good now.
But just you talking is just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I just want to reiterate some of the things that you said so that our viewers can take note of
yeah,
these early signs. So, like you said, it starts with the verbal abuse,
yes,
the verbal, the manipulation, the control, and then it escalates. So they don't just start with physical. It's just that the early signs, look out for those early signs and do not wait until someone put their hand on you for you to say, oh my gosh, I'm in an abusive relationship.
Yes.
The fact that a person cannot control their temper, that is huge.
Yes.
And my daughter, she had a friend in high school, and that's exactly what would happen every time he hang out with us. He Something happened. He got angry. He was we went to the state fair.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the cop had him on the side, and it was just like, okay, every time we take this kid out, it's
Yeah.
something. And then the mom told us that he has an anger problem.
Mm.
And I spoke to him and I said, if this is not dealt with now,
Yes.
when you become an adult, it's going to be out of control.
Yes.
And you're either going to end up in jail because of this problem. So go and seek counsel.
Yes. Counseling is very, very important, because sometimes you will stay longer because of the manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
Because you making excuses. Because sometimes they'll bring up their childhood. Like I had one person bring up their childhood. Well, I had a rough childhood. You know, I was abused. My father didn't know how to talk to me. So that's why I don't know how to talk to every, so you fall for the excuses.
Mm-hmm.
And you stay longer because
Yes.
you love them. You love them. And if you have a big heart and you always want to help somebody and thinking you can change somebody, that's going to keep you there longer. So yeah, seek help at the first sign of abuse. It's important.
Yes. Now walk away.
Yeah, walk away.
Walk away.
Walk away. Let them
And
get
I'm like you. I have a big heart, and I always think that I can help and I can change. But I was caught in that kind of relationship because my ex-husband, he was a narcissist. And that's exactly, they wine, they dine you, they show all the good things up front. But then when you're in a serious relationship, that's when it all starts.
Yes.
And like she said, like, thank God I didn't stay. I stayed long enough. I stayed for 2 years, but it was not long enough for that the physical abuse.
Right.
But that verbal abuse, I mean, it makes me start questioning who I was. And I was changing a lot of myself to accommodate because I thought something was wrong with me. But of course, when I went to counseling, they told me that that's his problem. That's stuff that he needs to deal with. So, yes. So don't make anyone feel like it's you. It's their problem. They need the help.
Yes.
And we are not in the position to help anyone.
No.
No, they have to help themselves.
I always tell people we're not God. We can only do
Yeah.
so much. You gotta let them go to God if they choose, or go to therapy, but don't stay in an abusive relationship because you think you can help them, because you can't.
You can't. You can't. Okay, so how can one begin the process of healing after leaving such a relationship?
Well, for me, the first thing I did honestly was go to God. I had to go to God. I knew I had to go to God because, like I said, I didn't have that support. I didn't have anybody there for me. So I had to go to God. Like, I had to ask God to help me to heal from the abuse I experienced in that relationship. Talk to somebody, like, seek help. That's so important. Like, talk to somebody, because you can't do it alone. You really can't do it alone. There are so many resources out there that can help you in that process. But just with me, mainly, it was just me talking to God every day, honestly. Just me talking to God every day. But I know everybody has their own method of healing, and, so you have to do what's best for you, whether it's even just therapy, because therapy definitely helps with the healing process.
Yes. And I like that your first step was going to God because it's scriptural. Here I have the verse, and it is Psalms 34, verse 18. And it said, the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit.
Yes.
I mean, he says that.
Yes,
He says that. So even if you go to counseling, I think true healing does not take place until you go to a higher power, which is God.
Yes. Yes.
He has to be a part of the story.
Yes. Because it was times I was going to church like constantly, like I just need a word, I just need a word. And honestly, that didn't help until I connected with God, until I got that relationship with God. And it wasn't overnight. It was a slow process. Sometimes we think healing is overnight, but it's a process. And you have to be willing to go through the process.
It's a journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's an echo. I don't know where that feedback is coming from.
Is it me?
Hold on. Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but it's when I talk, I'm hearing the feedback.
Oh, yeah, I don't hear it on this end.
I don't know. Okay, so you said that your first step was to go to God.
Yes.
And then after that, what happened? What was your next step?
I actually was at a church at that time, and I joined a group. It was a women's group. And in that group, we talked about different things that we was going through. So being in that group really, really helped me. It helped me to heal. It honestly, it helped me to walk away, because the healing process, it started way before I left those relationships. And that's one thing that people need to know. You don't start the healing process after you leave. You have to start it before you leave. Because if you start it after you leave, a lot of times you're going to go back. And I knew I couldn't go back.
Wow.
So I had to connect myself with other people who have experienced that so I can get it out. So I could come to terms with what I was feeling, what I was going through. So that group, I still thank God for those ladies, because it really did help me. It helped me a lot. And then I also, I went to counseling. I had a pastor at the time, talked to him. He counseled me through some things. So that helps. So counseling, therapy, just practicing good self-care too. That really helps too with your healing process.
Yes.
And just protecting your peace. That helps too. Like
And I just want to highlight what you said, is that the healing process begins prior to leaving.
Yes.
Because if the healing process starts after, then the propensity to go back heightens.
Yes.
Right? Yes. So, and you're right. Because I remember when I was going through my divorce and I went to divorce care, I was doing it prior to getting a divorce because I knew that it was in the works. And so when I was in the divorce care, I wasn't expressing a lot of emotions that these individuals were, because my process started before my divorce was final. So I can definitely relate with that.
Yeah. I experienced that too. We went through similar things, because like I went through a divorce, and like when I went through it, I wasn't mad. I wasn't angry, because I had already let go. So yes, the healing definitely has to start to take place before you get out. I think it's just more coming to terms with what's about to happen, because sometimes you can be in denial if you don't want to let somebody go. You want to hold on to them, but you got to remember the bigger picture. You got to remember that, hey, this person is hurting me, and I can't move forward, and I can't heal until I let go.
Yeah, you have to love yourself more than you love that person.
Yes.
And then it's hard. How can you truly say that you love someone who's hurting you? So that means that you don't understand what love is.
Yes.
Because if you love yourself, you would not have someone abuse you. And I think I had to get to that, come to terms with myself. It's like, I don't love myself.
Yes.
Because if I love myself, I would not allow someone to walk over me.
Yes. Yeah, that's important. I'm glad you realized that, because I had to do the same thing. I had to realize, well, I possibly cannot love myself if I don't know that I'm supposed to be treated with respect.
Exactly.
That nobody's supposed to put their hands on me,
Yes.
So just realizing that you gotta love yourself, and realize that this person is not loving you. That's what's gonna help with your healing process.
Exactly. And there's a question in the chat, and I cannot see those tiny prints.
Yeah, I know. I don't even have on my glasses.
So can we enlarge that, please? But in the meantime, what are some common emotional wounds that arise from these experiences?
Well, with me, it was just a constant, just feeling broken, like feeling broken all the time. Just not really, how can I put it? I was just always beating myself up, just always beating myself up about what happened to me. I couldn't shake that feeling of sadness. Like it stayed on me for a long time. So I think that was the worst thing I experienced when it came to that emotional wound. I just couldn't let that go. Like this happened to me, this thing happened to me, and I couldn't shake it. And yeah, and it took me a minute to get through those feelings and to forgive myself.
And I like what you say about forgiving yourself.
Yeah.
Because it's not your fault. I think true healing comes when you learn to forgive yourself. Because it's so much easier to forgive others. It's easier to speak life into others, but it's so hard to do the same thing for ourselves.
Yes.
And that's something that I've learned. If I can tell you that, hey, you're beautiful, you're going to get through this. If I can give you all the positive attributes about you to help you along your journey, why can't I do the same thing for myself?
Yes. Yes.
So yes. So forgiving yourself, that's very important because it's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not your fault.
Yes. I stayed there for a long time. Like I stayed in that place for a long time to where my life literally stopped because of it, because I was just stuck on what happened to me. I couldn't move past that. And it was a big emotional wound for me. And I knew I had to heal that wound. I had to close that wound up in order to move forward. And like I said, it was not overnight. That's not something you do overnight. It took years for me to really close that wound, for me to forgive myself, for me to forgive that person.
Yes.
Because like I said, it's the words, it's the verbal abuse that stays with you. And sometimes it replays back in your head over and over again. Sometimes you have triggers and that can reopen those emotional wounds that you may have.
So, and that is so true. Because even now, I'm remarried, and every single time, and it's not my husband's character, but if he says something, and I've heard that before, that's a trigger for me.
Yes.
But the good thing is that I know what those triggers are now. I've learned those triggers. So whenever he says something, I'm like, babe, I didn't like that. That was a trigger for me. Is that what you really meant? So I'm getting to the point now where instead of me getting mad and saying that, oh, you just like this person, because that's the first thing, I'm like, oh, well, I'm back in the same kind of relationship. But then I'm learning to check character. Like, is this his character? Because people, we're all similar. We may say things, we may do things similar, but that doesn't define our character. Yes. And I think if it's something that's done over and over and over again, that's what you need to take note of. Yes. Like, you can't write people off for one mistake.
I wrote that down in my yes. I wrote that down in my notes. I was like, one thing we have to remember is that not everybody is the same. So don't take that pain from your previous relationship into your new relationship.
Yes.
Right? You can't take that. You may take the lessons that you learned, but do not take the pain with you. Even if something familiar, just take a moment, assess the situation, and like you said, you got to talk to the person about it. Like, hey, I don't like when you said this. This was kind of triggering to me. But you don't want to attack the person and make them feel like, well, you're just like the other person, because that can actually cause more damage to your relationship.
Yes, absolutely. And I like that. So you can jot that in the chat. Take the lessons from the previous relationship, not the pain.
Not the pain. You
take the lessons. I like that.
It's gonna ruin it, because like, what if it's the person that God sent for you, and you ruin it because you allowed this person that you're supposed to be over, you're supposed to be healed from, and you allow them to ruin your new relationship, your
Yeah.
God sent person. You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that.
Yeah. Cause we can sabotage our own relationships.
Yeah.
Self-sabotage. Actually, I have an episode that I'm going to be doing on that one.
Oh,
Self-sabotage.
wow. That's
Yeah.
good.
Yep. All right. So how does trauma affect the ability to trust and form healthy relationships? Because I'm struggling with that trust issue in relationships.
Um, well, for me, it made it difficult. And like you said, like I'm still learning. I'm better, but I'm still learning how to trust people. Because like I said before, I have to realize that everybody is not that person that hurt me.
Mm-hmm.
So just not looking at everybody the same. Just not
Mm-hmm.
looking at everybody the same. But it does affect you. Like you have to accept that, okay, what they did to me does affect how I trust other people. And I think you just have to be real about it, real about your feelings. So it doesn't, affect you. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it does. It's not easy to trust after you've been hurt. I don't care what anybody says. It's really not, especially if you've been hurt multiple times. That's not
Yes.
easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy. It's a process. But just remembering that everybody's not the same.
Mm-hmm.
There are some good people out there. Because if you say that you're a good person, then there's somebody else that's out there that's a good person.
That's so true. Yeah. Absolutely. And I like what you said. I was listening. I'm getting brain fog recently because of menopause.
Yeah.
But
No, I get it because you see me pausing before I say something, right? Because I'm getting the same thing. You're not by yourself. That 50 is approaching, and I tell you,
oh yes, oh
that's why
yes.
I said I had to have notes.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely everyone is not the same. Everyone is not the same. So just don't go around because I had a friend that we introduced. She was just like, oh, I want to talk to someone. So yeah, so this guy, we thought he was pretty good. So we introduced her and they spoke, I don't know, probably about an hour or two. And
Mhm.
she said, oh, I think he's a narcissist. I'm like, how would you even say that? But
Right.
because she's been in those relationships, I don't know if it's something that he said was a trigger
Yeah.
and I remind her of something that someone else said. But I mean, right off the bat, she wrote him off and said that he was a narcissist. And I was like, you will never ever form relationships
Yeah.
if you continue to do that
Yeah.
because everyone is not the same.
No, you got to give people a chance. You have to, if you want to ever have a successful relationship, you have to give people a chance. You got to give them the benefit of the doubt. You
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
trust your gut. Yeah, trust your gut, but don't be too cautious to where you're so guarded to where you can't. You're not able to welcome new love into your life. You know,
Exactly.
because sometimes we can be so guarded and so protective, and that's why sometimes we can assume that this person has the same personality as the person that we was with. And then we go to
Yeah.
saying they're a narcissist because I notice that word has been used a lot with a lot of people now.
A
You're a
lot.
narcissist.
A lot.
Like
I
everybody's
mean,
not a narcissist. It's been used so much. I'm like, am I a narcissist?
I question myself sometimes too. Like, what? I did this. Wait. I think we all have a little narcissism because we're selfish. We're born selfish.
Yeah.
But that it doesn't define your character. That's what I'm going back to. Does it define that person's character?
No, I don't think it defines your character. Not not that. I think if you choose to let it define your character, if you sit in that and you don't make an effort to change some of those things about you, then yeah, that's gonna be what you're gonna be called. But
Yeah.
you have to make that choice.
Yes.
People can call us, like I'm sure you've been called all kind of names. I've been called all kind of names.
Mm-hmm.
But we have to choose not to be those things. Even if we
Exactly.
are temporarily are that person from hurt, because sometimes when we're hurt, we become somebody else. So even if
Mm-hmm.
we are that person, we still have to make a choice and say, I got to change. I got to change my ways. So I'm not defined or looked at in that way. So yeah, I think it's a choice. I think it's a choice to whether accept it or not to accept it. But that requires you to do some work and change some things about you.
Yeah, and you need that awareness
Yes.
because a lot of people are not aware. They always think it's someone else's fault, not theirs.
You don't want to bring that one.
So yeah,
I know a few people with that. They might
yeah.
be watching right now. I don't know. Just to see if I'll say something.
No, absolutely no awareness. Why can't I have friends? Why is everyone leaving?
Right.
Why my relationships are suffering in every aspect with your kids, your friends, your intimate relationships? It's because it's not those people. Start looking inward.
Yeah.
Start looking inward.
Yeah. Because you can I think anybody can change, even because I actually know somebody. And that's what they talk about. That's their platform. They are they used to be a narcissist, and now they help other people to identify narcissists. They talk about the traits and how they manipulate you, and he's really built a successful platform off of that. Even wrote books about it. So I think it's possible for people to change. Because I used to didn't think it was possible. I was like, no. Once you're a narcissist, you're gonna always be a narcissist. But when I saw him, and I saw him acknowledging who he was honest with, and I think that's what it is. We have to be honest with ourselves.
Yes.
And I think a lot of times when people are narcissists, they're not honest with themselves. I don't know if it's just because they're not aware, or they just don't want to be aware, or they just don't want to take accountability. But I know a few who they can't see themselves doing no wrong, and I'm like, you might want to take a deeper look within, because I think you got some things you need to work on. But not my responsibility.
Yes. Yes.
Because
I think that's the problem. People do not want to do the self-work.
Yeah.
So if I take accountability, what does that mean? Now I'm aware, and now I have to take the steps. And a lot of people, they're comfortable where they are.
Yeah.
They get the power from hurting people.
Yes.
Because that's what narcissists do. They get their power from hurting people. Because I remember my ex-husband, he would push me to the point where I exploded. And then after he got me to that point, he was done. Like he got me to where he wanted, and then he could see the smirk on his face. But eventually, after I started reading about narcissism and watching podcasts, and there was a pastor that did a month-long sermon about narcissism, and that's when I said, so that's what they do. They gaslight, they manipulate, they get you to a point, pull you out of your character. Yes. And then I got you where I want you. I'm good now.
Yeah, I've been where you at. I actually had somebody to tell me that I'm going to let everybody see who you really are. After they was the ones that was yelling at me, making me feel bad about myself. And so, of course, when somebody's yelling at you, you're going to react. And because I defended myself, it's like, I'm going to let everybody see who you are. Not acknowledging that the fact that they provoked me. They got a thrill out of hurting me and making me upset, making me angry. And then I had to learn how not to respond to that,
Yes.
But a lot of times it's the only way you can respond is walking away.
Yep. So what role does therapy or counseling play in recovery? I know you mentioned that. And since you are a coach, counselor.
Yeah. I think it's the key. Honestly, I think it's the key. Besides God, we're not going to leave God out of it, but I do think it's the key in healing. To seek that help. That's what it's there for. Like I said before, you have to sit down and you have to talk to somebody about what you're going through. You cannot keep that all in by yourself. Even if you think you can do it all by yourself, you cannot, because you can keep pushing it up under the rug, keep acting like it doesn't exist, but that stuff is going to come right back out. And it might come back out when you in a healthy relationship. So getting counseling, getting therapists is essential to your healing process. It's necessary. You cannot not talk to someone about what you're going through. And I know a lot of people don't like to go to therapy because they don't want everybody to know their business. And I feel like for African American people, it's because they feel like that person can't relate to their issue. But I do believe that God can connect you to the right therapist. They
Oh,
can connect you to
absolutely.
somebody who can relate to you and who can understand you. Because I think that's the big problem with a lot of people going to therapy, is because they feel like that person can't relate to me. That person doesn't know what I'm going through. Especially if the person is just going by the book and they're not really sharing their personal experiences. They're not really saying, I know what you're feeling, because I've been through that. So a lot of times they kind of don't want to go. But it's important to go. It's really important to go to therapy or seek some kind of counselor. You may want to start with your church, like I did. I started with my church, and that really, really helped me. Because
Yes.
there's a lot of group sessions too you can attend. Like group, if you don't want to do the one-on-one, like with me, I did group sessions. So it's
So
important.
you're learning from others
Yes.
and growing at the same time. So it said
Yes.
therapy can be your best aid towards healing. And for me, like you said, we think that others can't relate to our journey. But I remember when I decided to do counseling, I prayed about it. And I said, Lord, send me the right person. And then when I use BetterHelp. It's an online therapy session, and they have a list of things that you criteria. And I check, I want, an African American, I want a Christian, I want, check. And guess who called me? Was a white lady. And she introduced herself and everything. And I was just like, oh, Lord, this is not what I asked for. I said, okay. I said, I'll just talk to her. And if it doesn't, if we're not a match, we're not a match. And believe it or not, she was in a narcissistic relationship.
Wow.
She was relatable. And I sat at her feet for 2 years. And I mean, that helped so much. But the fact that I was going to push her to the side because she didn't look like me, but she shared the same story that I did. And that was so helpful. That was so helpful. So we should never judge the book by its cover.
No.
Like, open the book,
No.
dive in, and you might just like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never know who can help you. Never,
Yeah.
ever, ever. I have gotten help from people on the street, homeless people, like really seriously, like
Oh, yeah.
encouragement, counseling. It was one particular lady that I had met some years ago. She used to be at this park that I used to walk at. And some said one day I walked up to her and I started talking to her, and she started telling me about her life and her experiences and stuff. And she started encouraging me. So yeah, never judge a book by its cover, because you never know who can help you.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. So, can you share a personal or client success story of healing and transformation?
Um, Not to be, because I don't want to, disclose too much information, but I had this one particular person. They was going through a traumatic breakup, and they needed help with letting go. And so every day I would, well, not every day, but when I could, I would talk to them, help them through their emotions, um, allow them to be real with what they was feeling. And I was honest with them. I was honest with, the situation and how I felt that they should, you know, let go, because they still wanted to hold on to this person. I was like, no, this person is hurting you. You have to let go. And so we went through this for some months. And eventually the person was able to break free. They was able to break free from that. And even to this day, the person still thanks me for helping them through what they was going through. But because I had already been there, I was able to help, you know,
Exactly.
I had already been through what they had went through. So I was able to help.
So, did you decide to become a counselor prior to your experiences or after these experiences?
No, prior, like way before, like when I was a kid, honestly. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because when I was a kid, I suffered from severe depression, and my counselor was the person that helped me. And so I always said I wanted to be a counselor. I knew from a young age I wanted to be a counselor. At the time I was in high school, but I knew that was something I wanted to do, was to help people. Despite everything I went through, even after that, I still had this passion to help people. I couldn't let it go. It was something that I knew I had to do.
Okay. So, because pretty much I was saying that God was prepping you for this ministry.
Yeah.
So this is your ministry.
Yeah, I believe
And
that.
how better way to help someone than having those experiences?
Yeah.
And is vulnerable enough to share it.
Yeah.
You know, God works in mysterious ways.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I do believe that, because years ago when I was, going through everything I was going through in those relationships, I wanted to help somebody. I said, God, I never want anybody to be in this situation. Please just use me. I didn't know how he was going to use me. I had no idea, because at the time I was so broken. It was like, how he going to use me? I got issues. You know what I'm saying? I was so broken and so hurt. So to be able to help people now, it truly is a blessing.
It is.
And I'm still going through things, but I'm still able to help people.
Exactly.
Through their issues. So yeah, I do believe it is my calling. I do believe it is my ministry, and I just thank God that I'm still here to do it, because I've been through a lot. I've shared some things with you, health issues and everything I've been through, and still, like I said, still going through. But I told God, I made a promise to God that I'm gonna help at least one person before I leave this earth.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've helped more than one. He's already answered that prayer.
Well, I hope so.
Yeah.
I hope so.
I mean, just you speaking on TikTok, that's enough. I mean, you're getting around the world and people are listening. And those are positive things that you're saying. And even though, like you said, you're hurting, your message is positive.
Yeah.
So that's a blessing. So even in your pain, you're still able to help.
Yeah.
In the process, you are healing.
Yeah, and that's the purpose of my videos. That's how I started. I got a camera one day, and I just started talking to God through that camera. And at first, I wasn't posting anything. It was just a conversation I was having to God, just to get out my feelings. And eventually, I was brave enough to start posting things that I was going through. Some things I was currently in and going through. And so, I just thank God for giving me that platform. I thank God for the connection I just made with you, because I asked God for new connections. I made it clear a couple of years ago. I want divine connections. I want people who I'm divinely connected to, because I know God got something greater for me. I know he does. I'm not going to give up on that.
That's right. And what he said, be careful what you ask God for. He just might need it. You said to use me, but he's using you.
Yeah.
So you have to always be prepared for the blessings.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You are so right. You are so right.
Okay, so what are some practical ways to set boundaries after experiencing relationship trauma?
Okay, boundaries wasn't always my thing, because like I said, I had a big heart. So I didn't know how to do it at first. And so I had to learn how to do it. One, by saying no. I had to say no to things that I didn't want to do, instead of forcing myself doing things. Standing on my no. No, I don't want to do it,
Yeah,
and
without explanation.
Right. And I've had people ask me, why not? I'm like, no is a complete sentence. No, I don't have to say why. This is my boundary.
Yes.
Just standing firm on your morals, your values, your beliefs. Just making sure you do that, and putting yourself first, making yourself a priority, knowing that these boundaries are here for you, to protect you, to keep you safe, to give you the peace that you need. Because sometimes people come in your life and they interrupt your peace. You don't want that. So you have to set those boundaries. You have to make sure those boundaries are there. You can't compromise your boundaries. I stress that enough. Do not compromise your boundaries to please anybody, even your children. We can love our kids, but we got to have those boundaries, and we got to make sure we keep those boundaries.
Yes. Do not compromise your boundaries.
No.
Do not for anyone.
No.
Because it's easy, because I know I used to waver. I set my boundaries, but maybe my boundaries are it's too
Right.
too tough. Like maybe I need to loosen up a little bit. But then every time I did that, then who ended up being hurt? Me.
Yep.
So yes. So I agree with you. Even with my job, when I say no, I'm not seeing this patient, don't send them my way. No. I am full. I may consider it next week, but this week I cannot. But before I would work myself to death.
No, don't do that.
And then I'll come home, I'm fatigued, I'm no use for myself. But I've learned self-care is important. It's very important. So you have to take care of you first before you can take care of anyone else.
Yes, yes. You
Yep.
need you more than anybody else needs you.
Exactly.
And that's a motto of mine. You need you more than anybody else needs you. Because sometimes we think this person needs us more, but this person is going through more. This person, no. You need you more than anybody else needs you. I don't care how much you love that person, but you got to be there for you, because at some point that person is going to go on with their life. They're going to move on with even your kids. They're going to grow up, and you're going to be by yourself. So you got to protect your boundaries. You got to keep your boundaries. You got to stand firm on all those boundaries. Yes. And keep your nose. Don't change your mind.
I like that. Drop that in the chat as well. You need you more than anyone else does. You need you.
Yeah.
So you got to take care of you. Be the best version of yourself. You cannot do that if you don't take care of yourself.
Nope. Cannot.
So now the self-esteem, because usually when you go through all these things, your self-esteem is to the floor. So how can someone rebuild their self-esteem, or how did you rebuild your self-esteem and confidence after being broken down?
Well, I started with affirmations, just looking in the mirror and just saying simple stuff like, I'm beautiful. I am strong. I am powerful. I am love. Just those simple things. Just telling yourself every day that you are somebody special, that you are a child of the Most High. Yes. And God created you in his own image. Just reminding yourself of that. Because sometimes, like you said, your self-esteem can be greatly affected and you start looking at yourself differently. So just by pointing to yourself every day, positive things, even if you don't feel like it, because sometimes I didn't feel like everything I was saying, but the more I said it, the more I believed it. And I started to see myself the way God sees me.
So self-affirmation.
Yeah. Every day, until you believe it. Like,
yes. And I've mentioned a gratitude journal. I mean, there has to be one thing every day that you're grateful for. At least one thing. And I think that's...
Thank you for sharing that. I need to do that more. I don't think I do it enough. Like I said out loud, but it'd be better if I write, because I'm a writer. I like to write. So.
Yep. That works. Gratitude journal, self-affirmation. Those are things that I've stressed on this platform. That's important.
And self-care. That's one thing that I forgot. Self-care.
That's ultimate.
So important, because sometimes you can let yourself go.
Yes.
So you got to do things to make yourself feel better. If you like getting your hair done, get your hair done. If you just need to go, get a break, go get a break. Go on vacation. Do something to make yourself feel good about you again. Yes. Go shopping, buy your outfit, Yeah. And you don't have to be rich to do it, because there's been times I like going to the thrift store. I'm not ashamed,
Oh, I do thrift stores.
Look,
I find nice stuff there.
Like, whatever you got to do to make yourself feel good.
Oh, yeah. I give them stuff and I buy stuff. I make the money there and I spend it there.
Because sometimes we think we got to have a whole bunch of money to do self-care. No, sometimes self-care is just sitting in the park and just being still and just being with God and just talking to God. That's self-care. I do it all the time.
Yes.
It's free.
Going for a walk.
Exercising.
Yes. Simple.
Yeah.
But I think people, they view it as it has to be elaborate. It has to be a bang. It has to be, no, it's simple. Whatever makes you happy and you're actually doing it, that is self-care.
Yes.
Yeah.
And whatever is healthy, because sometimes we can do stuff that's not healthy for us, and
Yeah.
that can make things worse. Because I've had a lot of unhealthy habits in the past, and it just made it worse.
Yeah.
So have
Yep.
fun, enjoy life, but be safe about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we are about 10 minutes shy of coming to a close. So what advice would you give to someone afraid of loving or trusting again?
Like I said before, everybody's not the same. So you have to make sure you keep that in your head to remember that if you have a kind and loving heart, then there's somebody out there that God has for you that has the same heart. I do believe that if it's necessary, take some time to be by yourself first before you can connect yourself, before you can love again. Because a lot of times we rush into things without taking that time. It doesn't have to be a long time, it can be a short time. But just take that time to yourself so you can open yourself up to loving somebody again and trusting somebody again. That's actually what a place I'm in right now. I'm not even gonna lie, I'm in that place. So I'm taking that time to really just love on myself, and so I can open myself up to the idea of love again.
Yeah.
Because now I've healed, now I've done the work, I've healed. Now I feel like I'm open to doing those things. But I would suggest take your time. Take your time. Trust that God has somebody for you. Just because you've been hurt, just because somebody, it doesn't mean that everybody's gonna hurt you.
Exactly. Exactly. Yep. So not because you've been hurt, that doesn't mean that everyone else is out there to hurt you.
I see the chat. I saw what somebody said. Don't close off to a possible love relationship with someone that God sends you. Open up to love, but take your time.
Yeah, that's true. Because you may miss out on your blessing.
Yes.
You may miss out on your blessing. So taking your time, it's key.
It's very important.
Take the time to heal. Take the time to do the self-work. Yep. Don't close off a possible love relationship with someone that God sends you. Open up to love, but take your time. Reiterated. Take your time. Yeah, man, I just oh my goodness, this is exciting. But my last question is, how can faith, because obviously we can't leave God out of this, so how can your faith, your spirituality, or personal growth practices aid in healing? So how can those practices aid in healing?
Well, I've already told you, like, God was number one for me. He did it for me. He helped me through everything. Just spending my time praying morning, noon, and night. Getting in the word. You have to get in the word. You have to read God's word. That's going to help you too. There's a lot of good things in there that can help you and encourage you. Yeah. Going to church, some people don't want to go to campus church. Start with online church. If you have to. I've been to both. I've been to, campus church. I've been a member of campus church. I've been to online church. So just being able to connect with other believers, that helps you to heal. Yes. But yes, God is it's the key, I believe, to healing, because He made our heart. So He's the only one, I believe, that can fix our broken heart. I honestly don't think anybody else can do it. I don't think another person can do it. And that's the problem that we have. We always depending on somebody else. But if we just turn to God and we just say, God, hey, I need your help. I need for you to fix my heart. It's hurting right now. He can help us in so many ways. So yes, God, that personal relationship, praying, that can help.
Yeah, you have to turn inward. And that's God. Like you said, He has that space that He made just for Himself in your heart. And if He doesn't occupy that space, you will never be happy. No. You'll be running around chasing people for fulfillment and for love and for happiness. But true happiness comes from God.
Yes. Amen. I believe that.
Yeah. And they said, I'm doing a conversation with men tomorrow, and I'm sharing that the blood still works. God can fix our broken heart. Yes. And that's the truth. He can fix our broken heart.
Yes.
I just want to thank you so much for taking the time out of your busy day to share your heart with us, to be vulnerable, and to help someone on their journey. So, as we wrap up, I want to remind you that you are worthy of love, peace, and a life that feels safe and fulfilling. Healing doesn't happen overnight, but every step you take toward reclaiming your power is a victory. So, for our viewers, if today's episode resonated with you, I encourage you to take one action, whether it's journaling about your healing, reaching out for support, or simply reminding yourself that you deserve better. And if you need professional help, please don't hesitate to seek therapy or counseling. You don't have to do this alone. Your past does not define you. You are worthy of love, healing, and a beautiful future. I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences. So, share this episode with someone who needs it, send a message or write a comment. And if you found value into today's conversation, just leave a review. It helps more women to find the space of healing and encouragement. And I'd like to leave you with a verse. I said it earlier and I reiterate it, that the Lord is close to the brokenhearted and save those who are crushed in spirit. No matter where you are in your journey, know that you are loved, seen, and supported. Join us next week for another life-changing episode, Speak My Love, implementing the 5 love languages in real-life relationships. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, and remember, you are not broken. You are becoming.